Okie dokie. So Arthur here from Fusion Events, and I am currently working on this AI photo booth that we're going to be using for the hackathon, which I started building 1 or 2 weeks ago. So what are the tools I'm using? I am using bolt.new, which is what you see here behind me. Which is an IDE, which basically allows you to create code with prompts, build applications, deploy them. You can deploy them to the App Store, Google Play, or if you'd want it to just be a web-based app, which this is what this is. You have databases through Supabase, which means you can store. This is how I store my pictures, how I store settings. When you change a setting in the photo booth, that gets stored in the database, so it remembers what your settings are. And what else? GitHub, which is where my code repository lives. So all the code, all the files are there, and anytime I make a change here in Bolt, it's automatically synced to my GitHub repository. So that's really important and really good. So I can always, my repository is always up to date every time I make a change. And I'm also using currently Claude Code here, Claude Desktop, I should say, which is currently spinning up a file for me, and I can explain what that's doing. So currently, I am working on the gallery component here. And you can see each photo has some metadata, which is appearing here, the prompt and when it was taken. And I have a settings page for the gallery right here. This is my gallery settings page. And there's a show image metadata toggle, which is not working. So when I click it and I save, you can see it unchecks automatically. So there's an issue there, which I'm trying to solve right now, because if I go to my gallery, the metadata is there by default, and I want to be able to show the gallery without the metadata. So Claude, I explained that to Claude. So I put that here, and I said, we need to update the admin page because the show metadata on gallery toggle isn't working. When unselected, it should not show any prompt or metadata on the gallery. Please update the file so the toggle works. So I just took the exact file that I had in Bolt and I gave it to Claude. Now I could use Bolt to do this too, but I just find to get better results with a big file like this if I just plop it right into Claude Code and then paste it back into Bolt. You can see here this gallery component, the code for the gallery, which is right here, my gallery.tsx. This is all the code for it, and it's in total about 1,408 lines of code. And I just gave that to Claude, and Claude was able to spit that out in more or less one prompt. It paused and said, reach the maximum amount for this prompt, press continue to keep going. I pressed continue once, it said continue, and then it finished it. So it did 1,400 lines of code. Now I'm going to just copy this code and I'm going to paste it into my gallery file here. So I'm just going to select it all and I'm going to paste that in. Now I've got 1,500. I had 1,400. Now with the update, I've got 1,500 plus lines of code. I'm going to save this and see what happens. Okay, got an error right away. Terminal error. Let's see what that says. So this is my error that it gave me. I'm going to just take this error, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to pop it into Claude. Paste that in there. Now it's got that, and I'm going to just, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to paste in the error. Claude is going to know this is an error message. It says syntax error in your gallery. The error indicates an undetermined string around line 1532. So it's going to go ahead and fix that for me. So it's actually not going to fix it. It's telling me what to do. It's being a little lazy. It doesn't want me to. So I'm just going to say, make the updates for me. There's even a spelling error, but I don't really worry too much about spelling errors because Claude can figure that out. So now he's doing the research and trying to fix that syntax error. So now Claude is going to redo the whole 1,500 lines of code, which is sometimes the best. I could say update the previous artifact, but sometimes when there's some corruption in the code, it just gets confused, and it's just better to just write it again. So that's happening in the background here. So one thing I will say, while GitHub is great because it saves every version of your file, so I could always, if this screws up and it breaks my my app, I can go into my GitHub repository to that exact file, which is going to be here under src, and it's going to be under pages, and it's going to be under admin. Where's my admin? Oh, is it not here? Where did I put the admin? Hang on a sec. Where is admin? Yeah, that should be right under pages. Am I in the right repository? Am I in the right repository? I am not in the right repository, so that is why. Let me go to the right repository, which I can do right from Bolt. Just go to repository. Here we go. You can see there's already been a push 2 minutes ago. I want to go into this repository, which is my test repository. So I can have multiple versions of my code that I can play with. And, so if I want to make some updates, I can make a branch, which is like a second version of the code. I can make changes, I can test them, and then once they're working, I can push them into my main repository. So great way to sort of do version control. So I'm going to go to this gallery page in my repository. Here's the gallery. I can see it's been updated 3 minutes ago. And I can actually see the history. So now if I can always go back, I can always just copy this and paste it back into Bolt. All right, so now let's see what Claude has come up with. Okay, Claude has redone this gallery. I'm going to copy this and paste it back into Bolt. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to paste this gallery. Yeah, I can see this didn't finish properly, so that's a problem. Ooh, now it really truncated it. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Okay, no error. Okay, so now I can see that the metadata is gone. That's awesome. Actually opens really nicely now. I like how that animation happens. Yeah, very cool. Let's see what it looks like on a photo. Oh, that's a video. We want a photo. Cool. We can download the photo. We can share it. Okay, something's got a lot to work on that. So now I'm going to go back to the admin. I'm going to hit the gallery, and I'm going to show meta image data. I'm going to press this. Hopefully that's going to work. Save. Oh, no, it didn't save. Okay. So there's obviously an issue there still. I'm going to do a quick inspection here. So if I press F12, or if I just right click on any page, any app, and you go to inspect, you will see what's called the browser developer console. And there's a little button here that says console, and this will show you errors that are happening in your app. So I can see already right here, there is an error here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just copy it and I'm going to paste it back into Claude. And I'm say, the gallery looks great without the metadata. However, the admin component is still not saving / persisting when checked in the gallery settings on the admin page. Now I'm just going to copy and paste in this admin page here for a little bit of extra context and see what Claude says about that. Okay, the issue is in your admin component. It's not properly loading the existing config values for the gallery metadata setting. Look at the use effect where form data is initialized. I can see the problem. So now it's updating the admin. It's showing what the issue was, what it fixed. Okay, so let us paste this new admin page in. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in here. Hopefully no errors. Nope, that still is incomplete. I can just tell by the ending. That's not how the file should end. The ending of the file is incomplete. Please close the component properly. Sorry, you can't see that. That's what I just wrote. And we'll send that through. See what happens. You're right, the component is incomplete. Let me add the missing closing section. Let's see if it does that. It's a bigger file, so it may not. We may have to get it to completely rewrite that in a new chat. And that's another sort of tip is you should really only use one chat per fix or function that you're doing, because the longer the chat gets, excuse me, the longer the context is, and it sort of loses focus of what the earlier parts of your conversation were about, and it starts to get really confused. So don't do super long conversation threads when you're vibe coding if you want to save yourself a lot of headaches. And now a great thing is Claude desktop or the web app remembers previous conversations, which it did not do before. So now you can say, I usually start my next chat continuing from where we left off in our last chat, and then I keep going. So this is going ahead. We'll see what happens there. It's chugging along. Now, I often, if I'm working on a component or a feature that's like really good, like that's working, just needs a tweak, you have your GitHub repository, but I often just copy and paste the whole thing and just plop it into a Word document before I add the changes. So with this admin component that I started working on, before I made any changes, I just copied the whole thing, pasted it into a note. So if whatever I do here doesn't work, I can always just copy and paste that working version back in. I can always go to GitHub too, but that's just a little workflow that I use. So Claude is still chugging along. And, I would say one thing about, vibe coding and one of the reasons why people give up on it, or say, oh, this tool sucks. I see a lot of people talking about different tools in different forums. Oh, this I gave up, it eats all my credits. And the thing is, you have to spend time doing it, and you have to invest a little bit of money and tokens. Even if you're going to spend $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 on AI tokens and subscriptions, it's still going to be magnitudes cheaper than hiring a developer to do it. And you will learn quickly on how to be more efficient with your tokens and how the the programs work. So that's a good tip. Now let's see. Claude is still chugging away here. Okay, so it looks like I actually don't have any errors right now. I'm just going to refresh this. Maybe that component did work, but no, I don't see my camera. Yeah, so I don't think that is working properly. Although I'm not getting any errors, but the camera's certainly not working. Okay, Claude just hit a little bit of a wall and asked me if I want to continue. So I'm just going to press continue, and hopefully it'll finish the component. Let's see how it's doing here. It's chugging away. So being patient, not giving up. When you have an error, you have to keep prompting, keep asking, and try to figure out what's going on. Okay, so it's given me a new admin file. I'm going to copy this. Hopefully it is fixed properly. I'm going to paste this in here. Oh, wow. Wait, did that actually do that properly? That gave me almost 3,000 lines of code. Something seems a little bit fishy about that. I'm going to save that. Oh, yeah, big problem there. Okay, let's just copy this error, paste it into Claude. Let's see what Claude says. It's a little suspect to me that the file is almost twice the size now. So let's see. It says it fixed the problem. I'm going to go back, paste it in, and welcome to vibe coding, folks. This is how it goes. All right, save. Still giving me errors. Okay, we're going to just repeat this process until we get what we want. And if we don't get what we want, well, we're going to try a different approach. Component structure is broken. Okay, so you know what? I'm giving up on this chat. I'm going to move over to a new chat, fresh new chat. Okay, so I'm going to say, since updating the gallery component, the admin page is not allowing the show, let's put that in quotes here, show metadata toggle to persist when toggled in the gallery admin settings. It should be off by default, but if clicked, it should show the metadata on the gallery images and save and persist until unchecked by admin. Okay, so now I'm going to paste back in the original working admin file that I had, because the last one, it got confused, got all messed up. So I'm just going to paste this in and see what happens. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back to my code base here in Bolt, and I'm just going to add back in that working admin component. It had 1,479 lines, and I'm going to save that. Now, the big question is, why is my camera not loading up? Because I did not do any changes. Maybe it's because of this. Let me see here. I'm going to reload. There we go. Okay. Camera's working. If I go back to my gallery, I still don't see the metadata, so that's good because I don't want to. But if I go to my admin page and I go to gallery and I try to do the metadata, save, doesn't save. So we're going to just let Claude finish up this artifact here. Yeah, see, I can tell Claude's doing better now, because before it was kind of chugging along, because the context of the chat was maybe too long. So now it is doing its thing, and it's doing it furiously, which is what we like to see. And fixed admin. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to just copy this. We'll paste it back in here. Okay, so I can see right away that it's taken out a ton of code. I'm not happy with that. I know there's going to be issues, because you can't go from 1,500 lines of code to 400 lines with such, and just removing a small feature. I'm going to tell code, it seems as though you've removed a lot of code. Only update the admin page so the metadata toggle saves and persists and works. I think by default, these LLMs try to give you a quick fix immediately. They don't, they're sort of programmed not to give you gigantic outputs by default. See, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. So it's just telling me what to fix. Now I could, just follow these instructions and replace this with that and replace that with that, but I'm lazy as hell, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to say, please update the full component with all of the updates. Okay, and then I'm going to just give it the full component again. I'll give it the I'll give it the 1,400 lines of code right here, and see what happens. Provide the fully updated component. Now we'll see what happens. So yeah, I mean, sometimes something like this, might take a couple minutes. Sometimes, just because of the logic of the app and how things are set up, it might take a little bit longer. But the fun is in the challenge, trying to figure out what it is, and it is extremely satisfying once you do figure out what the issue is. So we'll just let this run here in the back end. In the background, it's going quickly, so that is nice. And can think about sort of the next step of what I want to do for the hackathon. We're going to potentially use this as a marketing tool where people can take a photo, have their image manipulated by AI, and then shared to social media to generate interest and spread the word about the event. So we will need to improve this social sharing option. You can see is it working? Let's see. Okay, so that actually did work. So that is nice. Seems like when we updated the gallery, it made some changes. Now, you see things are a little cut off here. It's because I'm in this like kind of small environment. If I want to see it full screen, I can just open this preview in a tab, separate tab, see the whole thing live. Go to my gallery. The whole thing is I want this social sharing. Okay, so it's good. I got Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. So I'll just try the Facebook one. We already tested that. That seems to work. Great. I don't love that. It's showing this weird link. We want to customize that. Fix that later. Let's try the Twitter one. Okay, yeah, I mean, that worked. It even provided the prompt in there, which is kind of cool. And let's try the WhatsApp integration. Open WhatsApp. Get started. Oh, I have to set up WhatsApp. Shoot. All right, let me try it. Sorry, got a message, was responding. Okay. Get this WhatsApp going here. Did that work? I don't think that worked. Open, oh, because I got to open it from WhatsApp on my phone. Menu. Gotta go to settings. Linked devices. There we go. Oh, there it is. Okay, we got that linked up now. Now we're going to try WhatsApp. Open WhatsApp. And yeah, it seems to work. I'm just not going to show because I don't want all my contacts on there. So that seems to be working. So that's good. So now we can go back to Claude. Oh, it's paused. Said the response was too long. So it just asked me if I want to continue. So I did. And now it's going. Hopefully that will fix the issue. Now, sometimes, I might take this output and put it into Grok in ChatGPT simultaneously. That'll give me 3 different options to choose from. So, so that's a sort of look into how long we've been going here. I don't know, 20 minutes or so of vibe coding, trying to fix one issue. Like I said, sometimes it goes like that. Sometimes it's really, really fast, and you'd be amazed. Okay, so we have something here. It's finished. Let's see what happens. I'm going to paste this new code block in, and okay, it looks like it's closed properly. I'm going to save going to preview. So now if I go to my admin and I go to the gallery, show image metadata, I'm going to save it. That did not like to save. Now what I'm going to do is I will refresh my browser, because sometimes the memory, the browser memory, the cache can be an issue with this. So I will do that in a sec. I'm just going to triple check here. Okay, see, that's saved now. That's saved. It's saved. Okay, so now if I go back to the gallery, hey, there's my metadata. Look at that. So I'll go back here, gallery, toggle this off, save, and now, bam, it works. We just vibe coded, folks. So there you have it. Hope that that's helpful, but this is part of the process of vibe coding, hacking for the brains behind the bots. This is Arthur K. signing out.